ball. Dunk with the gauge, I done did it all. Everywhere I go, I ball. Precise, keep my game tight. Oh, for sure I fall. I'm the invincible.
Scandalous talk, man. We in heavy tonight, man. Saturday night, 9:30. You know what time it is. Scandalous talk, man. Episode 2, man. Legends never die. Iceberg Slim in the building. 1/3 of fresh out, man. We got the legendary DJ Skandalous in the building. What's goody, man? What's going on tonight,
what's cracking?
Man, with you, man?
Nothing, just chilling.
On?
Just chilling. Did my fantasy draft, so now I'm ready to chop it up about some Tupac and DMX.
Hey, this is gonna be a crazy show, man. Again, if you missed episode 1, you gotta go back in and check it out, man. It's crazy. We talked about that Tupac's ring. We talked about Drake. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We talked about a lot of dope stuff, man. Salute to Bebo P and J Camp that helped us out on this one, man. But DJ Skandalous is holding it down himself tonight, man. So we're gonna talk about a lot of stuff tonight, man. We got the chat is heavy already, man. As everybody's coming in, man. First of all, how's your week going? How's everything going with you, Skandalous, before we go in and talk about these topics?
It's been going good. Like, we're still celebrating Hip Hop 50. That's a great thing. We have a lot of news about Jay-Z and Tupac in the news. It's a good time to be a Tupac fan, an old school hip hop fan to celebrate Hip Hop 50.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, man, it's crazy, man. Like I said, Q's in here. A salute. Daryl Harris, man. Pirate 800, man. We got a lot of stuff going on, but we got to talk about director. And like I said, no disrespect, man. We got to talk about, like I said, this dude's heavy, man. If you don't know Allen Hughes, man, he directed Brenda's Got a Baby.
If My Homies Call.
Let's be clear. We're not talking about some Rudy Poo dude, man. You know what I'm saying? He did the Dear Mama joint on the FX joint, man, was heavy. You know what I'm saying? So this is a guy who knows Pac. Let's be clear. This ain't some dude like that did the clothing line for the Pocket State, man, and just put some little crap over there. You know what I'm saying? It's somebody real. But again, he said something that was a little off-put, man, if you're a Pac fan, man. I got some video. I just want to play it real quick, fair use, and then get your response real quick. DJ Skandalous.
A murder trial, and where he comes from in Long Beach, and the work he put in, and the work that got put in on him and his homeboys, most of them who aren't here, he absolutely understands the gravity of the moment, that he can feel it. He knows what it is because he's a street cat. Tupac, on the other hand, while he came up in the inner city or the urban fucked up ghetto, he's not a street kid. He's an artist and an activist, and he's a performing arts kid, and he's delusional. He's just delusional. And I mean that, again, I think not just in the pejorative way, in the positive way. You have to be delusional to be a great artist, but you should know when to hit that switch. I just didn't, I think he lost, the lights went out where the switch was. He could not find that switch.
What's your thoughts on this, Skandalous, man? So again, like, this is Hollywood, staple, man. Allen Hughes, man, basically saying Pac is delusional. Do you agree with that? Yes or no, man? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, first and foremost, I'm just going to say the Hulu series by this guy was phenomenal. It's something that all Tupac fans, hardcore fans, and new fans really wanted, because we really wanted to see extended footage from his music videos, all these archive interviews and stuff. And, when he was on a TV show that really no one really knew about until that came out. So he he did a lot of good for the Tupac fandom, because there was a lot of information in there, a lot of footage that we've been dying to see for the last 25 years. And it's kind of a travesty that we haven't got all that footage on a DVD or anything. Right. So I'll give him his props for that. But however, the way he's going about talking about Tupac, I think is very, he's basically throwing shade at every curve that you can in regard to Tupac, and it's a shame because he put so much effort in that series. It seemed like he was trying to turn the corner and get back to the Tupac fans, but then he talks about Tupac was delusional and playing a character, and that's something like everyone always says, that Tupac's playing a character, but they don't really understand that this kid, I'm gonna say kid because when he was young, he was 4 or 5 years old, and this is in his own show. Tupac was on the step of his house watching out for the FBI because they were going after the Black Panthers. This guy was raised in the struggle. He was raised in poverty. He was raised on a mattress on the floor, you know, and not knowing to eat. And, you know, Tupac would get bullied at school for the clothes that he used to wear and stuff. So, like, to say that he's playing a character and he don't understand the lifestyle that he's talking about, it's a fucking lie. And I'm not going to sit here and sit back and, you know, give this man this Oscar. He did a TV show on Tupac. This guy has been trying to destroy Tupac his whole life. When Tupac was here, this guy sued Tupac and put him in prison. And for the last 30 years, he's been throwing shade. Now, I can understand maybe like after 30 years, maybe you feel differently about the situation. Like even 50-year-old Tupac will not be acting the same way as 25-year-old Tupac, right? He'll be more professional. He'll be handling his business in movies and stuff. So things in the past, even beef with Biggie, I think they would have reconciled and maybe does music together by now. But however, I don't think Tupac would appreciate this man going over Vlad and everywhere else, still talking trash about him. And then the Tupac estate doing a series with this guy. Like, the only really thing that this guy has done since 2010 is the Departed movie and that docuseries on Dr. Dre. I don't think that warrants enough to handle Tupac's legacy. And I'm damn tired of all these fucking people coming in Tupac's legacy that shitted on him and that, you know, talk trash on him in the media. Now they want to milk him like a fucking cow when it's me, DJ Skandalous, and everyone, all these other Tupac DJs that have been here since day one holding it down.
Shit, man. Yeah. Well, again, like I said, man, everybody in the chat's agreeing with you, man. Salute to Iron Maiden, man. I see Gritty in here, Born Gifted, man. Salute to everybody up in here going crazy. Rodney Ross, they're agreeing with you. What incentive does he even have to keep on slandering Pac's name right now? Again, we saw him at the Hollywood Star unveiling, and he was like, "Yeah, we got a star now, so now we can go in and do all this other stuff." What do you think is the plan that they have? Because again, they've been tying these two together for some reason.
Yeah. Now, well, let me get to the history. So, Tupac was doing Tupac-less now, and he wanted somebody to do their movies. So he found out about Allen Hughes, and Allen Hughes and his brother were basically nobodies, right? So Tupac put them on to do Brenda's Got a Baby, and If My Homie's Called. The only reason that they're even known is because of Tupac. And then, you know, Tupac was doing Juice, and then Allen Hughes was doing Menace to Society. And the only reason that movie got green light is because they were required to get A-list or B-list like celebrity or rapper, and that Tupac already had Brenda's Got a Baby and Trapped Out. He was already in the news for, you know, all his political stances and shit like that, his album being removed off the shelf and shit like that. So he was very popular since day one. And he also had the same song with Digital Underground, giving him the nod. So the only reason that, you know, Menace to Society got off the ground is because, you know, Tupac decided that he wanted to be a character in that film. And there was much discrepancy over Tupac's character because apparently he was supposed to play a Muslim gangster, and Tupac felt like you got to show more of his backstory so the fans, the viewers can understand why this guy was a Muslim and he turned into a gangster, because that's very much against their religion. And even now, Allen Hughes says that he looks back on it, he should have did that. But back then, like, Allen Hughes and Tupac would get into heated arguments when reading the script, and that led to Allen Hughes firing Tupac. And then apparently there was like a music video going down for Spice One. I think it's Trigger's Got No Heart. Yeah. And that's when Tupac and Thug Life rushed Allen Hughes. And you know, Allen Hughes says 10 other dudes beat him up. Tupac says he beat him up, but the only guy he sued was Tupac. So you tell me, if 10 guys beat you up, why are you only suing the successful one? Iceberg, you can let me know your thoughts on that, and then I'll roll back in.
No, I agree 100%. But again, Allen Houston, you know, Menace to Society, and man, like he's done a lot of cult classics, man. Again, he killed the Brenda Got a Baby situation. When My Homies Called, like when you think of Pac, you think of these like videos, man. Like, so we know the talent level's there. But to me, I think somebody in the chat even said it. I think they're still holding on to some issues from the past. I think Gritty said that. Salute to Gritty in the building. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll go back into that.
I think he's still holding on to some grudges, man. But again, I don't see why he's still slandering Pac's name when, to me, the more you praise him, the more you would make more money, the more you can get more opportunities. So I don't understand why he's doing that. And
this guy should be grateful that Tupac put him on as a, you know, doing his music videos and for that movie, because he's very much known for that movie now. Right. That's one of his best movies. It's a cult classic, a hood classic, right? And Tupac gave him that. If Tupac did not, you know, sign on, that movie would not exist. So I don't understand. Like, I can understand you get your ass whooped and you have some animosity even 10 years later. You know, I still hate some of the people I went to high school with and junior high school with, right?
Right.
I won't go to the bar and get a drink
Right.
with them, but, you know, I'm not going to go and try to fight with them. But, like, when you know someone as iconic as Tupac that gave you your big break, why are you still slandering this guy? And then you attach yourself to one of his life stories. And, like, I don't understand. There's so many other directors that could have did Dear Mama series and put out unreleased footage and stuff that could have been critically acclaimed. Like Antoine Fuqua wanted to do that All Eyes on Me movie before they went, you know, the other route. But I feel like maybe I know the docuseries with Dr. Dre was very successful, and that's why they say like Afeni Shakur reached out to him, because maybe Afeni Shakur felt like, you know, it's been so long, he'll turn the other, you know, turn a new leaf and stuff. But I don't understand, like, why would you still be talking about this guy? And let's break down everything he has said about Tupac. So they got into a fight. He says, even in the docuseries with Snoop Dogg, 10 other dudes whooped my ass. Tupac didn't whoop my ass, right? And Tupac says otherwise. And then there was one interview where he said, and this was a couple years ago, and after he was already put in a position to do the series, he said that Tupac's punches felt like Nerf balls. You tell me that's not a slight. Come on now.
Fact, yeah.
And then he said, Tupac, he shaved his head. And why did he shave his head? Oh, because he got into a jealous rage around the Juice premiere. I think it was before or after the Juice premiere. He got in a jealous rage after talking to a female on the phone. And then he took a razor to his head. What does that tell you? Like, he's trying to describe Tupac as an emotional train wreck and a simp. You know, that's shade right there. And then it comes out in his own docuseries that Aunt Glow said that the reason why Tupac was bald is because, you know, that jaywalking incident where the police, you know, you see in the All Eyes on Me, All Eyes on Me movie, where they took his face and slammed it in the concrete and they dug into his hair, and that's why he had patches of hair. So he starts shaving his head. That's the real reason why he started shaving his head. It's not because of Onyx. You know, people say, oh, he started shaving his head. Onyx. Tupac was out before Onyx. Come on, he started shaving his head before Onyx. But, you know, that's the whole reason. So why are you going to slander this guy? Make up some lie that he took his razor to his head over a female. It just makes him look bad. And especially if you're doing a series like that, you don't want to highlight something like that. And with Tupac, you know, a lot of people say now, oh, well, Tupac, you know, he grew his hair back in prison. He didn't have alopecia. Well, if you have alopecia and you have bald spots, you're going to start cutting your hair, and then you're going to keep cutting it because now it's your style. It's your fad. Everybody known by Tupac.
Everybody knows you for that.
If you shaved your head for 5 years, why are you going to go back to wearing hair?
Facts.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, we had to dive it a little bit deeper on this Allen Hughes thing, and we'll see what goes on. Because again, I also saw too that he did the Defiant ones too with Jimmy Iovine and Dre.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about with Dre.
So again, there might be a reason why he's doing some of this stuff, and also having the vitriol that he's basically saying when he actually talks about these things. So it could be, you know, some other reasons why he's doing that.
Now, I wouldn't have minded him doing this series, but I feel like he owed a bigger apology to Tupac fans because he's been slandering him at every corner. He didn't come out and say, hey, Tupac fans, I'm sorry for this. I feel differently now that I started going through his material and stuff. And I think that would have been a better way to honor Tupac. You don't have to go and kiss his ass and everything, but we see people like Nas, like Tupac, that had beef. People like Nas and people like Jay-Z that had beef with Tupac come out years later and show him his proper respect and flowers. Now, I don't expect anybody to ass kiss Tupac, but there was this one interview with Jay-Z, and the guy's like, so Jay-Z, what do you think about Tupac? and Jay-Z was quick to correct this guy, you know, and maybe that was him trying to save face there, but he didn't have to do that. He could just went in and start talking about Tupac, and he took, you know, the time to correct him and give a very positive, like, outlook on what Tupac's life and his legacy. And Jay-Z, we all know Jay-Z got like bombed on the original Hit 'Em Up, you know, on the outro, and he got bombed on, I think, it bombed first, and, you know, other unreleased Tupac songs. So there was a lot of beef there, and he didn't have to do that. So why can't, you know, this guy take the same direction as these rappers if they had beef with him? I don't understand.
Well, again, too, and salute to Art of Dialogue, man. Mo Preem was on there, Pac's brother. He was saying they had just tons of enemies. Everybody was hating because they was the talk of the town. And again, this is before social media, before internet, and you knew everything that Pac was doing. He was heavy in the game. He was only on death row for 8-10 months. You know what I'm saying? And getting that much love. So again, the hate is still there. It's still the bravado was still there in some of these guys. So again, it's not really necessary. And again, you're right. I think Allen does have to give an apology, man. Unfortunately, man, I think they're going to still tie a lot of stuff with Pac and him together, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, which I don't understand. Why would you have this guy at the Hollywood Star Walk of Fame when there's other people that could have been there presenting it and everything? You know his history, and I feel like Tupac would have, he would have been acting differently now. Maybe they would have worked together. Who knows? But he never got the chance.
Facts.
It's been 30 years, and this guy's still talking shit about him. I don't think a 25-year-old Tupac or a 50-year-old Tupac would take that shit.
Facts. Like I said, again, we'll address this as we go in, man. Again, if you're just tuning in, man, Scandalous Talk, man, it's going hard in the paint. DJ Scandalous, Iceberg Slim, you know what's going down. Episode 2, man. Legends never die. We just got done talking about a little bit of Allen Hughes, man, disrespecting.
And also in that article, he says that Tupac started he said that Tupac should have came out 3 years before what he did, because in 1988 they're all about different types of political messaging, and he came out with Trapped and stuff. And then he says by 92, 93 he started ditching all that and tried to do Thug Life, which wasn't true, because he still dropped Keep Your Head Up. He still had White Man's World come out in 96. Everything They Owe. He still had political songs, but they feel like he just automatically just changed and became Bishop after that Juice movie.
Nah, to me, Pac's always been multi-layered, and if you've actually listened to some of the phone conversations that he had before he passed, he was basically talking about going to different cities, linking up with some of the guys and doing more ground root stuff, actually running for political offices as well. And again, he didn't have any beef with Death Row, in my opinion. I think it was more of hey, I've done my contract. I'm over with. I've done everything I need to do for Death Row. Now it's time for me to move on and do my thing. You know what I'm saying? With all the other projects that he had going on. So
Tupac leaving Death Row we'll save for another episode.
Yeah.
I don't feel like he was. Yeah. His record label would have been a sub-label under Death Row.
Right, yeah. So, again, like I said, and again, these ties are still with Interscope and some of these other guys with Jimmy. So, again, we'll talk a little bit more about that. But the other thing we want to talk about tonight, man, the heavy hitter that we wanted to talk about was this AI track, man, that has just been crazy. When you sent it to me, man, I had to listen to it twice. I'm like, this can't be AI. This is 90% crazy. You know what I'm saying? There's a podcaster named Dot Punk. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Dope Punk. He's dope and crazy. This song is amazing. I want to play just a little bit of it, fair use, just so you guys can hear the authenticity of it, even though it's AI. And I got to get your opinion on this, DJ Scandalous.
I still ride on my enemy, sipping on yak and Hennessy. Y'all niggas fell off, but my true soldiers remember me. Frozen in time, a 9 about to go off. Money make these niggas go soft and about to show off. A true thug riding in my drop top band. I show no love. Ain't no need to be friends, so witness my cold strategy.
So that was the thing that was crazy.
Yeah.
Pac song with DMX.
Yeah,
DMX is sounding just like him.
And then you have DMX referencing Tupac getting killed with Keefy D.
It had Keefy D in the joint.
Yeah.
Crazy. What was your thoughts, man, when you heard this? Salute to the Dot Funk. Hopefully I'm saying the name right. What was your thoughts on this record, man, and putting these two legends together? Obviously, both of them have passed. There's even a picture that we have, which is on the thumbnail, and also in your promo. Showing these two dudes, they actually met. You know what I'm saying? And DMX was potentially going to be on Death Row. What's your thoughts on this record, man, and how scary is this to you, man?
Well, here, I'll break down the background with AI. So AI, there's a lot of YouTube channels, whether they take Drake's voice, they take Kanye's voice, and what they'll do is have a program, essentially like a program, and it'll map out their voice based on some reference files. And what they'll do is create a clone version of their voice. Then they'll be able to use the AI to overlap any existing vocals from any song. So you can have Kanye do 50 Cent in the club, and it'll map the vocals totally where it sounds as natural as if Kanye did it himself. And that's what we've been seeing with a lot of this. But the real beauty of AI is that you can make an original song, a reference track. It's kind of like a reference track what people hand in to other rappers and record labels. You can make an original song, and then you can have that rapper or Tupac's voice or DMX's voice overlap the reference file, and then you can put out a totally new song. Now, there's some AIs that don't sound as good. There's some AIs that don't. It comes down to whoever's rapping the song, if they flow like Tupac, if they have the same cadence as Tupac. And I feel like this is the one AI that's very much similar to the way Tupac sounded in maybe like 94, 95, 96. To me, it's still lacking a little bit of a passion. But the person that did this is a longtime Tupac forum member like me, and he also did a lot of remixes called DOP Funk. He was very much known for recreating Tupac's instrumentals. He was very much known for sounding like Nate Dogg on the chorus, and that's why he has a Nate Dogg AI that sounds just like Nate Dogg, because this guy already had Nate Dogg's voice. So he's actually doing a reference file where he's rapping as Tupac, 50 Cent, Snoop, and their style, and then he's singing as Nate Dogg, and he transformed it all into a collab, which is pretty damn amazing.
Well, like I said, it's insane. Natasha Salute, she's in the building. She's saying, I'm not opposed to AI. I think it should always come with a disclaimer, though, so there's no confusion.
Yeah, I'll talk
Facts.
about that.
Plus, the AI engineers should always want to get their credit. Facts. What do you think about what Natasha's saying? Salute to you being in the building.
Well, see, I think what DOP Funk is doing is amazing. It just shows the true power of AI and what you could possibly do with it. However, I do not think it's right for anybody to be releasing Tupac AI as an official album. Like if the Tupac Estate came out with a new album and had all AI verses, that stuff that he didn't even write down, I think that's a bit disingenuous to his legacy, because he already has 130, 150 unreleased songs that you have not put out. And it's a big difference between having an AI do someone else's lyrics in Tupac's voice or doing his own voice or his own lyrics. And I feel like you can't really be allowed to be put in the words into other people's mouths, and really that's what it's come down to. Like Ice Cube says, if you use my voice, I'm going to sue your ass, right?
Yeah, basically.
I feel like there has to be some type of legislation here, because I could go and I'd say, hey, I'm going to be the next Drake, and I'll just take Drake's voice and put it over my own song, and maybe that's how I get popular. And then, there's going to come a time where people can live perform with this shit, right? And that's even going to be more scary. Now, I think there's a way that they can utilize it and then be respectful. Like I took... Well, DOP Funk, he did Tupac's spoken poem, The Rose That Grew from Concrete. And Tupac never talked about that poem. He only wrote it down. I feel like that's where it can be a real benefit. Or if you take the AI, maybe you create layers under Tupac's vocals to make it sound better, or a custom hook or something that he didn't have a hook to. I think that's where it could be. But just doing a whole album with verses that Tupac even, write about, I don't think it should be done. I think, the record industry should avoid that, because they're just going to make everybody more lazy.
Well,
and then they're going to be resurrecting all these artists that didn't even have the work ethic like Tupac and come out with new albums like Pop Smoke.
Does it devalue the actual original vocals and tracks, and also the unreleased stuff that hasn't even came out? Because some of this stuff even sounds better than that stuff.
That's the problem. See, you could say the same thing about remixes. Like what I do does remix devalue the original, and that's why I changed the name. I changed the whole beat. But I feel like what I do is it helps bring in new fans that weren't exactly exposed to Tupac's original catalog. So then when I talk about Tupac, or I display his original, or I talk about his unreleased music and his original album plans on my Facebook, it gives insight to these fans that otherwise wouldn't have come across Tupac, because I have so many people, so many young kids and people all in Australia, Russia that found my work, and they say, thank you, Kevin. Thank you, DJ Skandalous, for saving my life, because I was going off a bad path and I wanted to hurt myself. I had this young girl from Australia. She was 9 years old. It was a couple years ago. And she said that she was getting bullied in school and she felt like ending her life. And it was my song, If I Die Young, with Tupac's vocals from Life Goes On, that saved her life. And like years later, she came back and messaged me and said, I'm so thankful you put that song out. And that's why I put everything into having this stream here, this podcast here, this channel, this remix. So anybody that comes at me and say I'm doing this for money or whatever, fuck you, because I do this. I love Tupac. I try to educate on Tupac in his life. I could be a little bit biased because he is my favorite, but when Tupac moved reckless, I will tell you. When Tupac was immature, I will tell you that. And there are some moments in his life where he was a little bit immature, but he was young. You got to think of how you would act at 35 compared to the way you act at 20. It's a totally different ball game. You're not going to be moving the same way. So I think it's a little bit scary in terms of AI, because you got to put a disclaimer on this and say, hey, this is fake. This is not the views of this artist, right? You don't want Tupac rapping about Donald Trump and shit. And the 2013, 2024 election, and they could possibly do that. Maybe after everybody's dead, they'll start having all these artists do crazy shit. And I think that's where it tarnishes the brand, because this is not what these artists wanted.
Now you can have the vocals saying anything that you really want that doesn't even agree with what the artist thinks. You know what I'm saying?
Now, here's where it could also be useful. You know that Tupac Resurrection film where they had it in his own voice, it pieced together vocals. This is where AI can come in and it can clean that all up and have it all in the same pitch, all in the same tone, and it won't sound so choppy. You could have, they have deep fakes now. You can have artists in their own documentaries with their own voice, their biographies and shit, and it'll be just like them. And I think that's where the true potential is. But how you go about getting rights to the voice and shit, there needs to be new legislation, because then anyone else can take advantage of this.
Because your vocals basically just almost like your fingerprint. You know what I'm saying? So again, you're gonna have to almost copyright, as a artist, as an actor. You're almost gonna have to copyright your voice. You know what I'm saying?
There's no copyright for that yet.
Right. Like I even saw today where I was playing PS5 with my nephew. They have the actors from the movies playing in the video games now. You know what I'm saying? So again, they're like, well, we don't have to even do that anymore. We can have them say a phrase and then go in and just copy everything on a character.
Yeah, like James Earl Jones. He doesn't even do the voice of Darth Vader anymore. It's all AI now.
And are you even getting a check for that? You know what I'm saying? So again, I think this is dope in the right hands, man. DOP Funk.
It sounds dope. The production's dope.
Crazy, man. Salute to this dude.
If I was going to do a Tupac album, I'll definitely get this guy involved, because this guy produces amazing beats. He knows how to take Tupac's original unfinished beats and polish them off and make them sound like as if Tupac was going to release it now. Like, he's phenomenal. This guy should be like working with Jay-Z and 50 Cent and all these other rappers, being a hit boy on that side of things, because that guy is truly talented. So I'll give him all the credit in the world to that. Yeah,
like I said, man, salute to DOP Funk. This was crazy. Go check it out, man. Go search him on YouTube, man. This is definitely a banger, man. Even the hook was crazy. So again, salute to him on that. Just real quick, man, I wanted to salute Tony Hawk real quick, man. Tony Hawk had put up a post on social media this week, and he talked about, man, a picture that he had of Pac that he couldn't find. But salute to our guy V-Mix, man. And actually, I've used V-Mix before too, man. Salute to him, man. He has some of the dopest creative Photoshop pictures, man, and he had one of Tony Hawk. I'm gonna play this real quick, man, just so you guys know what's going on, man.
Amazing photo has emerged of two goats, the greatest rapper of all time and the greatest skateboarder. Skate legend Tony Hawk recently unearthed an incredible photo of himself and the rap legend and said, "My missing photo with Tupac. I attended the American Music Awards in 1991 because my sister was there performing with Michael Bolton. While backstage, I saw Tupac standing alone, and I recognized him from Digital Underground. His first album had not dropped yet, and nobody else seemed to notice him. And for the record, he was effusive and gracious during our brief encounter, more so than anyone else we met or bothered for pictures that night."
So again, man, Tony, man, so basically he was saying, hey, Pac wasn't really that popping at the time.
Yeah.
But I knew who he was, and I got mad love for him, man. And so again, he couldn't find a picture, but it was so dope that V-Mix had one.
Yeah, and Tupac didn't even know who Tony Hawk was, and he gave him that much love and respect.
In fact.
It just shows
Pac don't really mess with nobody like that, too.
Yeah.
So show him love was real. What's your thoughts, man, on just Tony putting that post out there, just showing that love? You know what I'm saying?
I think it was a great way to articulate the story by having, V-Mix do a photo of this. Like, I know V-Mix. I talked to him a lot on his Instagram, so you can go follow him at V-Mix. That's VEMIX, and you can follow him on there. And he does a lot of like maybe like Donald Trump was somebody, or Marilyn Monroe was somebody, Elvis Presley and Tupac.
I love his Michael Jackson was a crazy too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Salute.
So he doesn't even use Photoshop. Apparently he does it all like on paper and shit, and puts it together, which is kind of crazy. That guy's so talented, but. Even at the end of Tony Hawk's post, he says, "This is not the real photo. I lost the photo. This is a recreation of what it may look like." But you see Hip Hop DX and all these outlets just run with the story. Now, this is not a big story. I just want to touch on Tony Hawk, describing this, because it's actually a great story that shows how kind and considerate Tupac was to people around him, which a lot of people try to paint him like a menace and like a crazy person all the damn time.
Well, the other thing too, man, it just shows the love because again, Tony Hawk, man, got that bread. He ain't gonna be talking about nothing. You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? It just shows how much
does
love he got
nothing.
for Pac, man. You know what I'm saying? So salute to him on that. You know what I'm saying? But we gotta talk about some topics that been going on this week, man. Some heavy, crazy, trending topics, man. And of course, man, when you think about heavy hitters, man, you gotta talk about 50 Cent, man. That's one of our guys too, man. Salute to 50. Going crazy on his tour, by the way. But he went a little too crazy. Mm-hmm. Try to throw a mic at somebody, man. Let me play this real quick, man. Fair use. So actually, I ain't playing it. So long story short, he got mad because some of the audio wasn't working and threw 2 mics into the crowd. The second one actually hit a fan. Come on, man. He didn't know what he was doing, man. That's what allegedly we're going to say because that's the homie. He didn't know what he was doing. Scandalous, what's your thoughts, man, on 50, number one, selling almost 1 million. I think he sold 1 million tickets in like 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. But what's your thoughts on him throwing the mic? Because again, Cardi B threw one in Vegas, no issues. You know what I'm saying? No problems at all, man. I think she just threw the bag at him, no issues. And they're basically saying 50 might go to the pen on this joint, or at least get arrested. What's your thoughts on this, man? What's your prediction, man, for 50? Basically, man, going crazy with the microphone.
Well, shout out to 50. I'm a big 50 fan. I feel like he came into hip hop at the right point where, you know, DMX was kind of like, he wasn't putting out number one albums anymore. So you have 50 Cent take up that mantle. You know, it's a guy that has a tremendous impact on hip hop and even business with his Power series on Stars. And now he's doing stuff with Paramount. I respect him. He's one of my favorite rappers, but like this was the wrong look, the wrong move. And I know like, when you're in the heat of the moment and shit goes down, like you can't really control how you respond. But you know, I don't know 50's age. I think he's like 45, maybe close to 50 by now. He should know better than just launching something heavy like a microphone into a crowd, fully knowing that a lot of these people in attendance could sue him. And that's what we're seeing now. And it's not like it just, you know, it's not like it just hit her arm or elbow or bounced off her. It left the big ass dent in her forehead. I can't really defend 50 Cent for this, but like, he hasn't always been like, you know, this professional in his heyday and everything. So I guess I should expect it.
Well, and this is the thing, man. Them mics is about $800, man.
Yeah.
With a good little mic. So you know the little PA dude was mad because he threw the joint. You know what I'm saying? Not only one, but two. But again, man, hitting not only a fan, but a woman. You're going to have to come out of pocket for that. Again, prayers up to the lady who got hit. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully she's feeling better. But you know she's going to try to pass out for a little bit, man, and cap a little bit to get some extra bread.
Well, I mean,
I
I don't blame her because you don't go to a concert expecting to get, you know, $800, you know, dollar mic thrown at your head.
And then again, too, man, like this whole tour that he's had, no issues, no problems, no violence, no anything. It's been nothing but love. Ice-T's on there. Salute to Ice-T, man. We got to get him on Scandalous Talk, too. He's been going there getting heavy as well. Saw his daughter jamming out. You know what I'm saying? She was doing her thing. So it's bad to kind of have that situation, you know, just lingering, especially in
kind of overshadow, too.
It overshadowed the whole situation because you know how the media is. They're going to go straight for that situation. But hopefully he can kind of get that Cardi B swag and basically just go in and throw that bread underneath. And hopefully this gets resolved quick because, you know, half of this is just about the bread anyway. But what's your final thoughts, man, on 50 doing this? And also, what's your thoughts, man, on him doing this final Get Rich or Die Trying tour, man? Like, this has been insane. And again, Ice-T said the same situation, man. These old cats is coming out here showing these young cats out, man, as far as getting these arenas packed out.
I think what it's showing is that now more than ever that there's a big hunger for old school hip hop, whether it's 80s, 90s, early 2000s. A lot of people are just not even tuning into the radio or anything anymore with all these trash mumble rappers. And I think everyone's looking to our legends, Nas, Jay-Z, you know, LL, Snoop Dogg. We're looking to them to come out with something because that's their only hope for good quality music that we grew up upon. So 50 Cent's not dropping an album. I heard there might be something, coming up with him. But, for him to have a tour and still sell out like this is absolutely phenomenal, and just shows what type of legend 50 Cent is, as well as, the fans just wanted something, some music with substance, really, and to really pay homage to like someone that came up and had a major impact on hip hop.
Yeah. Like I said, man, salute to 50, man. You know what I'm saying? We salute him over here, man. Mad love. He's doing his thing. I can't wait for some more TV series coming from him.
Yeah, and him doing this was a great way to intertwine Hip Hop 50,
Facts.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, man, it's going to be crazy, again, to see what he comes out with music-wise. We know he just dropped something with Nas on the Magic 2. We'll see what's going on, man. He just had Nas on stage with him. Jay-Z, where you at? You know what I'm saying?
Which was a great hip hop moment. Jay-Z take note.
Moment, man. So yeah, Jay-Z take note. He over there electric sliding and all that with his wife. But can you rep hip hop 50? But this is one dude that's Jay probably needs to talk to, man. You got Irv Gotti, man. This dude got $100 million, man, for some of the music that he made. Crazy timeless joints, you know what I'm saying? Ashanti, Ja Rule. But this dude just, man, chatty patty and boo, you know what I'm saying? And we love Irv, man, you know what I'm saying? Salute to Irv, man. We got to get him on the platform to get his response to some of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? He was on Drink Champs, had a little something to say about Jay, DMX, and Ja Rule. Help him play this real quick, fair use.
Was with it, Ja was with it.
Jay wasn't with it.
I tried 2 times to make that album happen. X was with it, Ja was with it.
Why do you think Jay didn't want to be about it?
This is just my opinion. Just my opinion. I don't think Jay wanted to get in that room with X and Ja. It was not.
One more than the other, or
Listen, no,
both?
No, both. Jay is a very smart person. He's gonna do an album with R. Kelly. R. Kelly worships Jay-Z. Worships him.
And Kanye West.
Kanye West worships Jay-Z.
And Jay Electronica.
They all worship the nigga.
I call cap on that worship talk, but
Stop the cap.
Jay-Z did the tracks with R. Kelly, not because, R. Kelly worshipped him. He's a singer. He's not going to go at him with a verse on his own song. So he didn't have nothing to fear with that. Yeah. Now, I totally understand from this standpoint that, there may have been type of some animosity between DMX and Jay-Z and Nas.
100%.
But the thing is, Jay-Z, he already had Reasonable Doubt out, right? And Tupac and Biggie were going at this point. Hip hop was looking for something to, somebody to take over. And this was before DMX even dropped his album. And this was before Ja Rule dropped his. So all you really had right now was Ice Cube, Snoop, and you had Jay-Z, Puff Daddy, and Mace in 97. Like, that was really it. So everybody was looking for the next big time rapper. So I'm not really sure if Jay-Z felt like, hey, I just want to do my own thing. I have my own crew, and DMX has Rough Riders. Maybe he felt like there was no point in doing like a group type of album. I think it would have been great for hip hop, especially we have Murdergram and some other songs with them together. But I just don't feel like it would have been Ja Rule, scaring Jay-Z. This is probably more so DMX.
Well, also too, man, I also understand in the hip hop realm, when I get my buzz up, I don't want to really give my shine to other people. So I can understand that, not from a hater standpoint, but a business standpoint. And also, back then, once you got certain things rolling, man, it's hard to once it stops, it's hard to get it back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think Jay was like, hey, I got my own thing going on. I got my own little people I'm doing. Pause. I think it's more of about maybe Jay's trajectory and where he wanted to go,
and it was
not
a chess
necessarily
move.
tied to be certain.
It was a chess move, because if you do a group, then you may be responsible for DMX or Ja Rule blowing up and being bigger than you, right? Because we didn't even know where DMX and Ja Rule was going to be at that time. So maybe Jay-Z felt like, oh, if I put them on, they could take my spot.
Yeah. So again, like I said, it's no shade to Jay, man. Again, like we just said on Fresh Out, man, Wednesdays 9:30. It's always good when Jay's doing good. It's always good when Pac's doing good, man. Nobody's hating on nobody, man. The competition, that's why early 2000s, 90s, it was so amazing at that time, because you had so many different flavors, so many different situations going on. But again, there was no internet, there was no TikTok, no Instagrams, no Facebook. So this was all grassroots. It was a contact sport. You had to be outside. You know what I'm saying? So again, I think the trajectory was different. Nobody knew that Ja and DMX was going to be how big as what they were too. You know what I'm saying? So again, and also Jay was a smooth cat wearing silk and the leather in the little silky pants. You know what I'm saying? With the hush puppies. These guys are wearing like, you know, no shirts, man, and overalls. You know what I'm saying? Like the styles didn't match. So maybe he just looked at it from a business sense. Because again, Volume 1 was super puffy. You know what I'm saying? It was super Puff Daddy. You know what I'm saying? With the Microsoft Windows 8 looking Sunshine video with Foxy. So, you know, I think that's what it was, man.
Yeah,
What's your final thoughts?
And
man,
if
on
Jay
that,
has
man?
like Rockefeller Records, he wants to promote his own artists and not other people. And I think that's where the problem would have came about. Like if Ja or DMX wanted, their artists to be featured on tracks heavily. You know, I feel like maybe that's where Jay-Z felt like he saw something down the pipeline that could, happen if they did team up like that. So maybe he just felt like it was the best way to avoid it. He already had his album out. Yeah. He already had mostly a lane to the #1 spot, if you want to call it that, because no one knew DMX was going to blow. Pause.
Yeah, like I said, man, and I think Irv knows the situation, man. He's got his bread. I think he also understands, man, that, hey, man, I can go viral saying certain things. So I think that's one of those situations where he's like, hey, man, I'm just going to go viral on this joint, man. So,
but, man, if they have an unreleased track or something, it would be great to put out for Hip Hop 50. Like, if Jay would have came back to Instagram and been like, here's this unreleased record from 98, 99, I think fans would have been going crazy, you know? Instead, he comes back with some bougie movie.
Religious movie, they ain't religious.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, man, salute to Irv, man. We got to get him on the platform on Scandalous Talk, man, to talk more about this. But again,
and that's no hate on Irv.
Yeah,
I love his
all,
production
man.
with Ja Rule. He has so many classics. Shout out to him.
So again, like I said, man, it's just been a bad week for Jay. Let me just say that, man. It's been a bad week for Jay. But before we get out of here, man, tonight, you had a Pac joint you wanted to play that grabbed the mic. Pause. You know what I'm saying? Can you kind of cue that up a little bit?
Yeah. So every episode, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to highlight an unreleased song. And the reason why I'm going to do this is songs that are found on YouTube already. So it's not nothing I'm pulling out. So, nobody should be coming after me. But, pause.
Pause.
But I want to highlight his musical catalog because there's a lot of fans that come to me and say, hey, is this real? Or they think a remix on YouTube is real and it's not the real song. And there's a lot of people say, oh, what? Tupac hasn't had an album in 17 years. He has nothing left. But that's very much untrue because this man has so much music that was rejected by his record label, so much music going after Biggie and Jay-Z, and they didn't want to put that shit out. So this song here is actually called Grab the Mic, but the real song is called Through My Rear View. Now, if you're familiar with Tupac, he already has a song called Staring Through My Rear View on a gang-related soundtrack with Phil Collins in the air tonight. And I talked about that on the last episode of Scandalous Talk, where I said, Phil Collins in Air Tonight is one of my favorite songs. And I also gave birth to Tupac Staring Through My Rear View, which is one of my favorite Tupac songs of all time. It's a perfect hook. It's a perfect beat. And it's Tupac reflecting about not being here anymore. So Grab the Mic was actually recorded months earlier, and it was around All Eyes on Me. So this song was pretty much slated for All Eyes on Me, but it actually appeared on a unreleased track list called Thug Life Volume 2 Still I Rise. And this track list, it has nothing to do with the album Still I Rise that came out in 99. It was actually going to be a follow-up to Thug Life Volume 1. And it actually had Mopreem Shakur, and it had Big Psych on it, as well as The Outlaw. So we would have got songs like Play Your Cards Right, What's Next. We would have got songs like Jack Move, the Hit 'Em Up original version with totally different lyrics. He versus She, which is unreleased. We would have got the unreleased track Where You Been, Still Ballin', Letter to the President, Teardrops Closed Casket, Soon As I Get Home, Fuck 'Em All. So all these songs would have been on this album, and this is where Grab the Mic appears on it, as well as an unreleased song called Fade Me. And this song, I have the sample here. So the song samples Patrice Rushen's Giving It Up, or something like that. So this song is actually from 95, and it's actually produced by Johnny J.
Yeah, and so I'm going to play this real quick, man, just so Fergus, so y'all can check it out real quick. Hold up, here we go. y'all gotta go check it out. Y'all gotta peek that, man. Put on your playlist, man. It's still cold, man. Again, Skandalous give you something to check out. Put on your playlist every time we do a Skandalous Talk episode, man. Let's be
So the
you know
reason
what I'm saying?
I think it's Echo.
Okay, go ahead.
So the reason why I like that song is because it's a 3-verse solo track. It's very rare that Tupac has 3-verse solo track from Death Row period now. There's a lot of songs unreleased from Death Row period, and this song would be perfect as a single because you have a classic sample. Tupac has classic verses in a solo track, and it very much highlights his time at Death Row as well, giving inspiration. And I feel like that song should be like a lead single for his next album if they ever do an album. And it's totally crazy that you have the song stashed away in the vault, but you release all these remixes on Pac's Life and stuff, and like four remixes of the same fucking song.
Yeah. And again, like I said, man, I think just like anything else, man, I think the next project that they come out with, they need to get with like the DOP Funks and you and some other guys, man, make it more of a social thing, man. The people who really, really love Pac and still get his name out there, because you know you guys are going to push it heavy. You guys have the platforms. I think this is a call to the Tupac estate, man. Let's be clear. You know what I'm saying? On this next situation, maybe even have like you guys come in and really kind of even A&R, even kind of put something together, because the ones that we've been hearing lately, it's not a snub. You know what I'm saying? So,
and it's the reason why Tupac's sales declined is not because fans were tired of him or like his star power dwindled. It's because they put out remixes. They put Ashanti on tracks, T.I. on tracks. People just wanted these original beats. Now, there's some beats that are not fully finished, but that's why you have a producer like DOP Funk or Big Hutch from Above the Law go in and just polish the song. It's pretty much done already. That song right there, you don't got to do much. You can just go in, just put breaks in the song, maybe add in a singer like Anderson .Paak or John Legend, Phil Collins or something. It'd be a classic record.
Facts. So again, like I said, you know, hopefully we get some new music, man, this year, man. My thoughts on Hip Hop 50, man. We might get some Pac, you know, something new. Like you said, I think this will be a dope single that they can kind of maybe craft and kind of make it new, bring some new people in and get it going. So again, like I said, man, episode 2, Skandalous Talk, man. You know what I'm saying? Iceberg, DJ Skandalous, of course. What's your thoughts, man, before we get up out of here, man?
You know, I'm just so grateful to have this platform for all Tupac fans and Death Row fans. Like, I don't feel like there's as many platforms such as mine that really highlights Tupac and Snoop Dogg and everyone else from that time period, as well as what I do on my YouTube channel, Skandalous Talk and DJ Skandalous. I feel like this can be a great home where we could talk about all these, you know, 90s stories, because there's a lot of people coming out of the woodworks now talk about shit that we don't even know is true anymore.
They
a lot of people talk about
history.
Pac rewriting history, you know, and we don't really know who's behind all these brands anymore, you know. So we got to have more people like us that are willing to make this content and really talk about it and give fans another outlet where they can gain knowledge and information. That's why I really love having my YouTube channel and Facebook, a way that fans can connect and learn about Tupac and other Death Row artists and West Coast and East Coast artists as well.
Well, also, let's be clear. We're trying to get DJ Skandalous up to 1 million subs. Let's be clear. He's at 960.
Yeah, getting close.
Yeah, we getting close. You know what I'm saying? We need 40,000 more. So like, this thing, if you know a Pac fan, if you know a hip-hop rap fan, man, especially a 90s hip-hop, you know what I'm saying? Share, like this video, man. Hit the Cash App, too. Show some love, man, so we keep on doing these platforms, man. Keep on doing these episodes, man, because, again, man, Skandalous putting time, energy, and effort into this, man, so we got to salute the dude. You know what I'm saying? Episode 2, Legends Never Die. Go check out that Tupac DMX situation. Check out the song that we just played, man, that, to me, will be a dope situation for a new Pac release, man, a new refresh, a new reboot. But again, man, put your comments below, man. Tell us what you think, man. What we need to talk about in the next episode, man. We're going to be hitting y'all every week. Take us home, DJ Skandalous, though.
Yeah, so guys, if you want other topics covered, just drop a comment here, whether it's on a replay or you can go to my Facebook. You know, I always post on Facebook about, you know, Tupac's poems, Tupac's unreleased track list. You can always drop a comment and we'll cover it, whether it's, you know, a Tupac album review or song review. I feel like this could be at a platform where we break down anything from his songs, anything from his life, and any upcoming releases that we may see down the pipeline. So I just want to thank everybody for being here. I know it's not crazy numbers like I used to do in 2018, but I feel like this is a great platform to have whether we get a lot of views or not, I just still want to be able to showcase Tupac in a good way, in a way that people can understand his message and his life, because there's a lot of people saying, oh, he was just a character, and they don't really understand his roots of being beat down by police, being shot, being convicted of a wrong crime that he didn't even do, being, under FBI surveillance a week before he died. There's a lot that goes into the overall presence of Tupac and the overall, just his whole life story, and that I don't think a lot of people really understand.
Again, like I said, this is the headquarters, man, for everything. Pop, hip-hop, 90s hip-hop, man, and R&B, and rap, let's be clear. We might do a little R&B, too. You never know. But the whole thing, man, is Scandalous Talk, man. You come over here to get the real Scandalous Talk, man, again, every week. We're trying to find a date, so we'll let you know, man. Stay tuned to all the social media platforms. Again, DJ Scandalous, man. Scandalous Talk episode 2, man. We out, man.
Peace.
I'm pumped up with the gauge, I done did it all. Everywhere I go, I ball. Precise, keep my game tight, oh for sure I fall. I'm the invincible.